There will be seasons of your life that make no sense while you are inside them. Seasons where nothing feels stable. Seasons where you do the right things and still feel behind. And in those seasons, your own mind can become your worst enemy. It starts asking whether any of this is worth it, whether the work matters, whether the waiting means you were forgotten. But not every hard season is a warning. Sometimes it is a shaping season. Sometimes the life you prayed for is being built in a language you do not yet understand. That is why faith matters. Not the shallow kind. Real faith that it will all work out. The kind that keeps working when the reward is invisible. Because if you only trust the process when life feels good, then that is not trust. That is convenience. Faith begins where control ends. And that is difficult for most people because most people want certainty before effort. They want the guarantee before the sacrifice. They want peace without the season that teaches it. But life does not work that way. You are not given every answer at the beginning. You are given a direction, a responsibility, a reason to keep moving. And then you are asked to walk. That is the tension of being alive. You work, but you cannot control every outcome. You give your best, but you cannot force the timing. But that does not mean your effort is meaningless. It means your effort is sacred. You are not here to control everything. You are here to carry what is yours to carry. And while the output is not always in your hands, the input is. And this is what you should measure your success with. A successful day should be one where you gave 100% effort in everything you did, even if it produced no results yet. If you measure success by your output, your happiness and peace will always be at the mercy of an external force. And that truth can either frustrate a man or free him. Because once you understand that your responsibility is the work and not the timetable, something inside you begins to settle. You stop panicking every time the results are delayed. You stop treating suffering like proof that nothing is happening. And instead, you begin to see what this season is actually doing to you. It is making you more patient, wiser, more grateful. It is teaching you endurance. It is stripping away the weak version of you that needed constant reassurance just to keep going. And yes, that process hurts. There are days when suffering feels pointless. Days when your body is tired, your spirit is heavy, and your mind starts telling you that maybe this is all too much. Then there are the quieter wounds. Watching other people move faster. Watching other lives seem easier. Feeling like you are late to your own future. Looking at where you are and wondering whether you missed your moment. That feeling can break a man if he lets it. Because feeling behind creates desperation, and desperation makes people abandon the process. It makes them grab at shortcuts. It makes them betray discipline for relief. But relief is not always rescue. Sometimes relief is the thing that steals your potential. Because the season you are trying to escape may be the very season that is preparing you to hold what you asked for. A weak man cannot carry a strong future. An undisciplined man cannot sustain a meaningful life. An impatient man will ruin what a patient one could have built. So when life delays you, it is not always denying you. Sometimes it is developing you. That is why you have to stop looking at suffering as if it automatically means something went wrong. Not all suffering is destruction. Some suffering is construction. It teaches you how to stand when you're alone. It teaches you how to be faithful in the dark. And that matters. Because discipline is easy to talk about when life is easy, but it is much harder when life is heavy. When your progress is slow and you still remain honest. That is where strength is formed. And this is where faith and work belong together. Too many people separate them. They either work with no faith, as if everything depends entirely on their hands, or they speak of faith as if it means waiting passively for life to save them. Neither is true. God steers, but you must row. That is the relationship. You do not sit still and call it trust. You do not force the ocean and call it power. You row. You give effort. You remain disciplined. You keep your hands to the task in front of you. And at the same time, you accept that the current, the timing, the wider direction of your life are not always yours to command. That is alignment. Whether you call it God, the universe, or purpose, the truth is the same. You will not be given the life you want without the effort. You must work for it. The hours you spend working when nobody sees, the restraint you show when comfort is calling your name, these things matter more than you know. Because character is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built in repeated contact with difficulty. The same way muscle is built by tension. And you are being shaped right now. Even if you do not feel it. Even if nothing looks different yet. The deepest work of your life will often happen before there is any visible proof that it is happening at all. That is why so many people quit too early. They think nothing is changing because nothing is visible. But silence is not always emptiness. Sometimes the roots are growing in the dark, while you keep complaining that you cannot see the tree. Have more patience with your life. Not passive patience. Have active patience. The kind that keeps moving towards the goal. The fact that it is hard does not mean it is wrong. It means it is worth chasing. A cheap life does not ask much of you, but a meaningful one does. A meaningful life asks you for endurance. It asks you for humility. It asks you to release your obsession with immediate results and become devoted to the process that makes results possible. And once you understand that, a strange peace begins to appear. You begin to trust that your labor is not being wasted. Maybe your delay is teaching you discipline. Maybe your loneliness is teaching you how to stand without leaning on noise. Whatever this season is doing, let it do its work. Do not numb it too quickly. Do not run from it too early. Stay with it. Work. Trust. Endure. And if you pray, then pray. Just keep your hands moving and your spirit open. Because one day, you will look back on this chapter and realize it was the most important chapter of your life. You will understand why certain doors stayed closed. You will understand why certain things took longer. You will understand why you had to become stronger before life placed heavier things in your hands. And when that day comes, everything will feel worth the wait. It will all make sense. And you will finally understand the meaning behind the phrase, "It will all work out in the end." So breathe. Do your part. Trust what you cannot yet see. Let faith steady you when feelings fail you. Let discipline carry you when motivation disappears. And remember the truth when life feels uncertain. God steers, but you must row.